Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, June 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First, a couple of clarification points. First off, the market's still open for a little bit of time. So this price over here you see will still be changing around and the candlestick will be moving around. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open for a small amount of time because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for your beginners out there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, Impp. And pullback today did recover, and it really is just a matter of what your game plan, what your strategy going into this was. Meaning, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yeah, from that perspective, chart looks pretty rough. But if you care about things from the bigger picture, then even with the pullback here, everything is still fine from a bigger picture trend perspective. So let me squeeze this down to illustrate that. In fact, from a big picture point of view, what you still have here is a big old bull pennant pattern. Now, again, to reiterate, if you're some sort of day trader or scalper, then this may have zero relevance to you. But if you do care about things from a bigger picture point of view, then overall, even with the crazy movement today, even with the general pullback, the trend is still up and you still do ultimately have this bullish pattern here that you can watch for any sort of potential breakout to the upside. So that's really the big question, at least in my mind going forward, is can this price recover enough to get a break through that trend line and through the upside of the pattern? Let's see how the week continues to play out, as it is only Monday. Next one, DAWN, and I like this one for one reason alone, and I set up a little context here. By no means am I trying to impress you. By no means am I trying to imply that this is some sort of great discovery on my part or some sort of special talent. The exact opposite, actually. I assure you that a whole lot of people have noticed this area right here at the $15 mark. And I bring that up because when a lot of people are watching the same level, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very nice price movements. Now, there are no such things as a guarantee, but all I'm saying is that, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can get up to that $15 mark and then get a break up through it, that break right there could create some additional buying pressure? That is absolutely a plausible thought process to have. So if you're somebody who likes to play the breakouts, then keep a close eye on that $15 mark. As far as areas of support are concerned, pretty straightforward. Several times today, the price dropped down here right around that $13 mark you can see earlier on in the day. And, you know, not exact, but just generally speaking, whenever the price got down around that area, the price did hold strong. So you can keep a close eye on that. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic and the most, kind of most relevant reason to be watching this moving into not necessarily just Tuesday, but over the next couple of days is all about that $15 level. And can it be broken? Next one here, Gmvd, and put this one very strategically in the watch list because same exact premise that we just talked about, self-fulfilling prophecies and how the line I'm about to draw. I'm not trying to impress you, not trying to apply any sort of special talent. I assure you a lot of people have taken notice of this trend line right here, and they're going to be watching and wondering, okay, clearly the price struggles with that trend line every time the price gets up around it. So does that mean anything is guaranteed? No, but does it make it plausible? Does it make it valid to think that if the price can recover back up to that area and get a break of that trend line, could that break create some additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So like I said, don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse. We just talked about it, but same logic. And the only difference here is for those people that like to play penny stocks, you have a penny stock now if you do like to play that general price range. Next one, AERC, and this is why I like to do these when the market's still open for a little bit of time, because as I speak, you can see last 30 minutes, absolutely fantastic movement. It's hovering up here around these highs, so it'll be fun to watch how that plays out even as I just recorded this little portion right here. But the first update that needs to be done and just played out perfectly is that when levels of resistance, so this will mean a bit more to those of you that watch past videos, but I've talked about that area right there, that red line as resistance are broken, and it was broken today. Then technically speaking, you want to see them act as support. And like I said, you just can't make this stuff up, the power of charts. But broke above it right there, tested it, now a support. Tested it a couple more times, now a support before returning back upwards. So for anybody that noticed that, bought that pullback of the previous resistance back test, I mean, congratulations, you have been paid and are being paid very nicely right now. So moving forward, $14.20 is going to be that new near-term area of support. In fact, I'll just get that extended out here a bit more. And then as far as areas of resistance, really, I mean, it's in the middle of a breakout, essentially. It is doing battle with this area right here at 18 as I take that back. What is that? 18.15, excuse me. So it's really just a question of, is this going to get the break and how much more momentum will come about. And that's the whole idea of a watch list, right? Not to randomly just rush out and buy something, but to watch it and see if it ultimately behaves in a way that fits your personal strategy. So that's really the big question mark. That's the interesting dynamic here. Is very strong, powerful, afternoon here. It's doing battle with this 1815 mark. Can it get above it? Can it stay above it? Those are all the dynamics that I think a lot of traders, especially those momentum traders, will be caring about for Tuesday. Next one, AMC, and like the markets as a whole, just a brutal day here. It was crashing through all sorts of these green lines, which were supports. I mean, in all actuality, basically all three of these supports were broken in a single day, which illustrates how rough a day it was. And now even going forward, granted, to be fair, there was a nice and respectable bounce, as you can see right here. But within that, within the bounce, what it's actually done, so we have a little upwards channel here, but before that you have this downwards momentum. So this would be a bear flag pattern. Now let me be very clear, as I've said earlier, there are no guarantees. So just because something is a bearish pattern does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to go down. My point here is just be a little skeptical. Yes, the price is bouncing, but before you go and think that this is the bottom and then everything's all fine now, like I said, it might be, to be fair, because that's a two-sided coin, and because there's no guarantees, maybe this is the start of a much bigger bounce to the upside. But you also have to acknowledge the flip side of that coin, where, yeah, but it's also forming a bear flag pattern. So while it is, a nice little bounce here, it's like I said, there's more work that needs to be done, and you don't want to get overly excited, too quickly, when in all actuality, there's still very clearly a lot of downwards pressure out there. But if this trend line can continue, so that's what I'm going to get mapped out here, then technically speaking, the bear flag has not been violated. And as long as the bear flag has not been violated, then that implies that the price continues to work its way higher and higher, and that's what you want to see. So that trend line right there is going to be kind of the pathway to any sort of potential bigger bounce or even a reversal. Real quick, I want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you see and you want to learn more, certainly get signed up for the free class. Next one here, Ekso, and I did struggle with this one if I wanted to keep it on the watch list, but I am for this simple reason that, as I mentioned earlier, the whole idea of a watch list is to find interesting, to find unique situations, and this one is very unique, maybe not necessarily in the positive type of way, but I mean, this last 30 minutes was absolutely brutal after, and here's the kicker, what had been a huge breakout. So the price broke above that area, got all the way up there, and then just completely turned itself around. Now, the reason why I am keeping it on is not only, yes, this is a very unique, this is a very dynamic situation, which is always worth watching moving forward. But the other reason why is the price is still actually up above this lower consolidation area down here at the $2 and, what is that, 20-cent mark. So that basically you can see right here, there is that low, generally speaking, that low right there, and that's right where it closed here. So again, just because it's bounced the previous two times, does that mean it's guaranteed to bounce again? Of course not. But it doesn't make it at least plausible. Doesn't make it valid to think that maybe there is going to be some sort of bounce. That makes it absolutely plausible too. But like I said, at the core, what a crazy way to end the day for this one. So worth at least keeping a close eye on for Tuesday. Next one, CYN, and I like this one. Good, solid pattern here, and it goes back to the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies to an extent. But I think a lot of people are going to be watching this breakout area right here around the $1.72 mark. And then along with that, you have a pretty nice little trend line right there, and let me change that to green to represent the bullish dynamic of the pattern and maybe make this all a bit easier to see. Get it all one color. We have our resistance, we have our support, we have the momentum move right there, and we'll put a golf hole down here to make it a little bit more visual. So for you golfers out there, a bull pennant pattern is what this would be called. So if you do like bull pennants, if you like to play stocks down below that $5 range, then I definitely say this one belongs on your watch list. Next one, AMD, talked about this on Friday and how the price had broken down below that trend line. And the big question was, okay, was that the start of something bigger? And we didn't really need to wait for any sort of confirmation because there's just big gap down. So whatever. Okay, yeah, clearly that break of that trend line was the start of something bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here as they've served their purpose for now. And the first level I want to map out as far as resistance is if there is any sort of bounce right there at $88 is going to be that initial level. And that's just based on the fact that this had been a level of support both there. And that's just based around the foundational rule that when levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. So that doesn't mean that the price can't get back above 88. I'm just saying that if the price does bounce, then 88 is going to be that first big test of, okay, let's see what kind of quality is this bounce? And obviously a very low quality bounce would be it gets up there and then just rejected right back down. But a higher quality bounce would be it gets up to that level and pushes through it. So with any sort of bounce, use $88 to gauge that. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, the level here, which, a lot of, so the NASDAQ today went to new lows, but to give some credit to, AMD is not even really necessarily that close to lows. You have $85 as a level of support. And then after that, you have down here at 83.65. So if you want to try to look at the glasses half full, yeah, the past few days have been brutal, but given that, the QQQ is at new lows, or not new lows, but lows from those previous, area right around that 280 mark, you can see that this one is not even at, those former areas of support. So, maybe that's a little sign of a bit more strength compared to the relative market, but we'll see how this one continues to play out. Next, AMZN, Amazon. I'm still a little new to this after the reverse, or not the reverse split. Wow, I'm really butchering this, and it's only Monday. Oh. Watch this watch list video on Friday. I'm probably not even going to be speaking English anymore. But anyways, Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN, who just had a forward split last week. Still a little unsure, clearly, how to, pronounce the ticker symbol. But overall, I'm trying to think, yeah, there we go. Wait, yeah, I suppose you could accuse me this video has officially fallen off the bus here. There we go. Okay. So what's interesting on this one is a potential triple bottom here. You go through the history and you can see there's one bottom, there's two, and then once again, there's three from today. Now, again, no guarantees, but nobody could accuse you of saying, where's your thought process coming from? I mean, it's not like it's been down in this area before. Well, no, it's been down here twice before, and both times it did indeed bounce. Once again, does that mean that this bounce is going to continue? Of course not. But the whole idea here in our job as traders is to just not make random decisions. We want to make logical decisions. We want to make plausible decisions. And this right here, throwing out the question, hey, could this be some sort of triple bottom? That is certainly a plausible situation to have. But after you saw me just butcher Amazon and talk my way through it, I don't blame you at all if you're like, no, Clay, your thoughts on Amazon, not interested. I totally understand. Next, Tsla Tesla, and another brutal day on this one, so get some updates here done. And just a classic example of technical analysis. Talked about this area of support at 680, and with the price gapping down below it, that's where you'd expect it to act as resistance. And I mean, sure enough, look at that. Opening 30 minutes, bounce, 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 rejected right at that line. So if I can, another quick plug for the class, get signed up for that free class. I mean, technical charts truly are, of course, not perfect, but they certainly have a valid place within the world of trading. But 680 now remains going to be that key level of resistance. But I'm a little bit more curious about in terms of the near term is going to be that resistance trend line right there. So right now that's valued right around, let's call it the 655 mark. But even with the break of 655, again, that's certainly a step in the right direction. But I just want to get too excited because you still do have that 680 mark that's kind of looming up overhead. As far as levels of support are concerned, price bounce off here a couple of times right at that 644 mark. So maybe some sort of double bottom here forming. But again, from a pattern perspective, you have the resistance, you have the support, you have the momentum move. So this would be a bear pennant pattern. But like I said on AMC, just because something's bearish doesn't mean it's for sure going to go down. But I don't think anybody would be shocked if it did. And then if the price does break the downside, next key level of support going to be right down there around the 633 mark. So let's see what happens with Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10. And again, want to personally invite you to get signed up for that free class. So if you like what you saw here, then get signed up. Like I said, it'll be later this week on Thursday, June 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned and watch list, if you enjoyed what you saw other than Amazon, but if you enjoy these videos and you want me to continue to make these and put in the required time and effort, then do things. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Those two things go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I will gladly continue to put the required time and effort to get these videos out to you. So again, get signed up for that free class, hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Everybody take care. Have a good one.